This is the heaviest podcast. Let's go!
Hello. Welcome to the Heavyist podcast, weekly worship at the altar of radness. Lots of riffs to be chatting about, Gary. I feel very official. I'm stood
You
like
kind
this.
of a bit sinister. You kind of side-eyed the camera. Hello. It was a bit creepy. It was a
How are
bit
you?
disconcerting if I'm honest.
Are you comfortable?
Is this an episode of the Heavyist or Tales from the Crypt?
Imagine. Tales from the Riff Crypt. That could be a spin-off, Gary.
Tales from the Rift.
We got
That's
Riff-
another
the Riff
alternative name we
Police.
could have had from a podcast. Why are we coming up with so many good alternative podcast names now? Like, we've had this one for too long now. It's stuck.
Yeah, you can't go back, can you? You can't just
No.
do a big rebrand. Don't really
No,
work.
it wouldn't really. It would be a bit awkward. I don't think it would work well.
How you doing, mate? You all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I am. You can maybe tell from my face. I'm really fucking tired. Sorry, I swore too early there.
You're incredibly
Naughty boy.
tired.
Yeah, man. Oh, I've
What's
got. You
been
know when you
happening?
get so tired, you get like you think you've got something in your eye, but you don't actually have anything in your eye.
What you have in your eye is a lack of sleep.
Yeah, what I have in my eye is 3 hours sleep a night. No, yeah, Jamie, he wakes up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, and
Oh,
it's quite brutal. We've been looking into. We got like a skylight in the hallway, and the light of it keeps waking him up. So we've been looking into getting a blind for it because I'm so tired. He just gets up so early, and the annoying thing is he gets up. You know, he goes out, and then we go and sit in the living
by
room,
the
and
way,
he falls asleep.
if this is your first podcast,
Jamie's
Jamie's
a dog.
and not a child.
Just to
in
clarify,
case. Just to
Jamie's a
clarify.
dog. Yeah, I should have probably prefaced that, shouldn't I? Yeah, Jamie the dog, the foster dog that we have at the moment. He gets woken up by early, and yeah, he gets up, and we go and sit in the living room, and then he falls asleep on the floor in the living room. I feel like, bloody hell, dog. I could be in bed.
So all you've done is just moved your slumber from one room to the next, and
Well,
that's
yeah,
it.
I do end up sort of dozing on the sofa, but yeah, so I'm quite tired, but you know, I'm here. I'm doing well. I'm powered entirely by riffs at this point, so
Hell
you know, I'm running on riffs, and
That's
and
good.
it's been good. How are you doing, man? You good?
Yeah, very good, mate. Very good. You know, nice weather. Life's all right. The baby's sort of ever more impending. It sort of will be increasingly impending until its arrival. So
Well,
it's
yeah,
just,
that's generally how pregnancy works.
yeah, I am familiar with anatomy. But like, I had to go. We had to go look at a nursery the other day.
Oh
right?
yeah, a
'Cause, like,
nursery.
Yeah, because queues and that are like so mental that you've got to
You
get
got to
in
book
now.
a nursery before it even exists.
You got to get in on a waiting list, and it seems so backwards. It's
That
mental.
that is mad. That is
Yeah.
absolutely mad that you've
Like-
got to go get on a waiting list for a nursery before the child is
Yeah.
even birthed. That
Um,
is mental.
I'm organising as and when exactly he's going to be buggering off before I've even laid eyes on him.
you've even met him. Already planning how to get a shot of him. That is so
It's-
strange.
It's very very odd. So, it's just weird that we've got to do it all so soon. I think there's like I think there's been an increase in government funding, which has then caused a knock-on effect of
Oh,
more
massive!
people.
Like,
more,
yeah,
yeah. So yeah, it's just you know, just dad stuff, mate. You know, just dadding
just
it out.
dad stuff, just dadding it out.
Dadding it out. Just
Straight dadding.
straight dad vibes, mate.
You and Fred Durst. Peter
Me
the pod.
and old Fredders are like that.
Amazing.
Other than that, mate, just you know, been keeping my head down, just enjoying the last moments of sort of solitude before things happen.
Cramming in as many Destiny raids as you can.
Yeah, yeah. They put out a new raid, and it's so bloody hard, mate. It's unreal how hard it is. It's so funny. It's the best thing they've ever done, and it's absolutely bananas.
Oh, I'm
It's
pleased for you, mate.
It's ludicrous. Yeah,
I'm pleased for you.
Yeah,
It's the best thing that's going to happen to you all year that they Destiny raided it.
well, you know, the final shape only happens once.
I reckon you'll be able to just, baby in the arm,
Strap 'em in.
Xbox controller around. You'll be able to do a Destiny raid whilst doing a night feed or something. You'll be fine.
Oh yeah.
Have you been practicing? You should get a bag of sugar and practice how to play Xbox whilst cuddling a child, so you're ready. That's more important than getting a place at a nursery, mate.
I've half got the idea already because you've got the things that you wear and you put them on the front.
Oh, like a baby Bjorn.
And they're they're all hanging off. But then also I've seen that some gamers have put out these products recently where so they can smoke joints without having to take their hands off. It's like a little cradle. You put the joint in and you sort of play and you.
So you're just going to make one of those?
Maybe there's some sort of modified one for a baby bottle.
Baby Bjorn with like an arm that kind of comes out of the front of it, and you sort of rest the Xbox controller on that, and then you're good. And yeah, mate, nobody allowed to steal that idea. That's ours. I think I say that every week, and I don't think we've ever followed through on a single one of those ideas.
Yeah, Gary, you're very slovenly in your litigation. I'll be honest.
No, I'd much rather just be annoyed when someone steals my idea than actually follow through with the idea itself. That's more my style.
That's more British in general.
More in keeping, yeah.
that sounds like a much more British way to deal with things.
Passive-aggressive.
Suing people and stuff. Yeah. That's for American.
So American. That's so American.
I don't even know how to do that.
Actually doing things and taking action is so American. In England, we like to just politely complain.
It is funny how in America, there's just signs and stuff everywhere for do you need to sue someone? I'll sue him right now for you for nothing.
Yeah.
There's things everywhere.
Better Call Saul.
They love it. It's so funny.
On the benches and stuff. Yeah. Ads galore, and her TV. You've never seen an advert on the telly for a lawyer. Maybe injury lawyers for you. There was a little stint, but that didn't last very long. Mate, hilarious.
Yes, mate. So just riffs, listening to riffs, looking at new riffs, listening to upcoming riffs that are coming out, listening to Ulcerate continuously.
Yeah, that's been going down quite regularly for me also.
Had a fantastic walk around the park listening to Ulcerate yesterday. It was awesome. Absolutely fantastic.
Can you hear that dog kicking off? I don't know what his problem is. He's just...
No,
it's all
right.
In the background. Good. All right.
Well, it's not...
as long as it's not being picked up by the mic, we can carry on. But
yeah,
I can hear him, and I don't know what his problem. He's been he just barks at nothing. He's so twitchy. I guess it comes from living for 2 years in the middle of nowhere, just surrounded by whatever's coming your way. So every little thing that moves, he's like, what was that? He's so twitchy and nervous. So he does bark at his own shadow or his own reflection actually quite a lot. If he finds his reflection in anything, I have to whenever he start we've got the log burner in the living room and there's a glass front and he sees his reflection in that. And then he starts barking at it. I have to get in behind him and be like, look, that's you because that's me. And he does understand it until the next time he realizes it's there. And then he does it all over again. He's such an idiot. I mean, I'd love
to have a little video of you trying to teach the dog about reflections.
Teach the dog what reflections are. Trying to make him understand what reflections are. Yeah, maybe. I don't think he ever will. I don't think he'll ever get it.
See, that's funny that he picks up on his because I've picked up Ozzy all the time. I'm always trying to show him his reflection. He's got no interest in it.
He's just not interested in it.
It winds me up.
The other day he was barking at his reflection in the skylight in the kitchen, and I was like, "That what are you barking? If that was actually a dog and not you, what's he going to do up there? There's a dog on the roof. What's going on? There's a dog on the roof, everyone." He's a nutter. He's a nutter, mate.
Before we get into just talking about the record,
you're going to tell people to like and subscribe.
We should tell people to like and subscribe. You should come and like. You should do subscriptions. You should do comments, potential sharing, any of those lovely things. Also, the Discord's really nice. Loads of bangers flying around in there. Good place to come, share music, share, have a chat about anything, games, video, music. Calm down, it's nice.
At the moment,
But, Gary,
there's a tournament going on in the Discord for the
Euros.
I'm reliably informed it's about football. It's about the Euros, and we're picking bands based on the countries that are represented in the groups, and it's it's interesting. And there's a lot of bands I've never heard of because there's a lot of countries that are a bit more obscure than we're used to, and it's interesting. It's cool. It's worth coming and joining just to see what that's all about.
Absolutely, yeah.
Big up
Mitch is
Mitch,
doing
thank you
well,
for that.
and big up Ian recently for the Heavyist album. That was very good. I think that's still. I think the finale.
We haven't had the finale
impending. Yet. So yeah, you should come to the Discord and vote for the final 2 albums. I believe it's Nails versus Not Loose, is it not?
It is. That's exactly what it is.
It's a tough one. It's a bloody tough one.
It's a difficult decision. Which way did you vote? Or have you not done it yet? You're still deciding?
I think I said I was going to take the weekend to vote and then continue to have a very busy weekend and didn't think about it.
Now it's Thursday.
So, and now it's Thursday. No, he said he was going to keep up for a week, though. So
nice. I voted Nails just because it's like... It's one of the heaviest... It's the heaviest thing ever. Go on. You're trying to get a point out and I keep interrupting you. I'm sorry. Go on, do it.
I just wanted to, before we do start talking about the new riffs, I wanted to just flag something that I know that you've enjoyed and I previously have idiotically ignored. How bloody good is that big ass truck demo, dude? Yes. I've been listening to it like non-stop, like
big ass
a whole week.
That is so good. The Big Ass Truck EP. I love it. I think the band are hilarious as well. I think I saw the other day that Chevrolet had to like tweet them or share them on Instagram and be like, can you leave us alone, please? So funny. Yeah, man. Big Ass Truck, absolutely raw. What's it called? Big Ass Demo?
It's called Big Ass Truck, Big Ass Demo. Such tracks as Corn-Fed, Beef, Big Ass Truck. It's fantastic. If you've not listened to it and not heard of it before, it is really sort of enjoyable, doesn't take itself too seriously. It's almost comedy beatdown, but it's done in a phenomenal fashion. It's done with sort of riffs and grooves that rival like Jesus Peace and Sangui Sugapod.
Yeah,
like
it's so good.
And it's got, and the loads of like tons of like beatdown hardcore in there, and it's the best 10 minutes you can have.
It's amazing. One of the single most ignorant things I've ever heard, and I absolutely love it. I can't wait to like just the next stage. Maybe they fully band up and it'll become like an actual thing. Because at the moment, I think it's like a one guy laptopy project, but it sounds incredible. And
I thought I saw a band.
Oh, I think what's recorded isn't a band, but maybe they have staffed up since then. That's exciting. That's exciting to find out.
They played their first show on it was sometime around the 21st of May. There's a band there. They're having a great time.
The future is bright for Big Ass Truck.
Yeah, fantastic. Like they've got just these like brilliant AI images of just like a truck with loads of tacos on it.
Yeah,
that's probably not going to be picked up.
I can't wait for them to do like truck nuts merch.
Just like a wrench or something.
Yeah,
that'd be nice.
Toolboxes and bumper stickers and all of it. They just lean right into. Never make a single T-shirt. Only ever do car accessory merch.
Yeah, that would be sick. Man, if you took your lunch to school in a toolbox, how hard would that
be? You'd be an absolute hero.
You take your fucking sarnies and dunkers,
the proper like metal
that.
ones that open up like concertina out, and each layer's got like you got one layer that's just got like salsa in it or something. Yeah, it'd be so good. One of the layers is your drink, and you've just got to like pour it out.
And that's in a motor oil can.
Yeah, yeah. One of like metal. Yeah, mate, that'd be so good. Mate, I think I've just realised what I'm going to get Max for his first birthday.
I've been an idiot and I haven't listened to Big Ass Truck until literally like this weekend, and then since then I've been listening to it multiple times a day, every day. It's good, man. It's so much fun.
Good man. Hey, we've got one album to talk about this week, and then later on we're gonna have a little guesty poos popping in to say hello. But
Yes.
I think we should talk about this record, man. I think we should get
Let's
stuck
tuck in.
right into it. The band are called Foreign Hands. They're a 5-piece metalcore band from Wilmington, Delaware. Their new record is called What's Left Unsaid, and it's released on the 21st of June through Sharp Tone. So I think we need to address this right up front. Basically, every time I want to talk about a band doing throwback metalcore to the point where it's like, all right, we've had enough of this now, I basically always would refer to Foreign Hands as my go-to reference for why. Why do we need this? Like, I already own The Opposite of December. And I really think it behooves me to take this opportunity to apologize for that, because this new Foreign Hands album is absolutely bloody brilliant.
It rules, dude.
Yeah, man. We've talked about this band. Like, we talked about when they first came out on the scene. I think they did an EP, and we were really into it. It had like Derek Hess artwork, which was just incredible. Like, I haven't seen that for a long time. But then since then, I don't know. I feel like they've, as far as I was concerned, they were just kind of getting a bit more nostalgic and more nostalgic and more nostalgic, to the point where I just kind of gave up on it. But this new album is so brilliant. It is an absolute fountain of youth, dude. This is, I feel every time I listen to this album, I feel like there's like an old dude in like a, you know, like a what's it called, a suit of armor, who goes, "You have chose wisely." You know what I mean? Like Indiana Jones. Like, I just properly, like, I'm gonna have to just stick to my the other whipping people for going too far ODing on nostalgia, which is See You Space Cowboy. That's still that's still a bridge too far. But for now, I'm happy to say Foreign Hands, you get a pass, because this album is absolutely wicked. I love it. So much fun.
This is like era worship done phenomenally well. It's a fantastic nostalgia delivery machine. And sort of on top of that, I think it's that there's such a hardcore backbone to it. Like, the hardcore sort of set pieces in this thing are fantastic. They really, really hit. They really do round out the product to the point where it's not just 100% like 2000s Trustkill. That it's really, it's just a fantastic hardcore record as well as that. Like, it's, I'm absolutely all over it. And then there's there's other little points in the record, like there's like a sort of quite a mathcore moment in God Under Fingernails. That like opening riff, that was that caught me.
Yeah, that's really good, isn't it?
Yeah, man. I definitely had my bib and spoon out, because I was eating a lot of humble pie when I was listening to this. And I jammed
humble pie.
Bunch.
Humble pie has been consumed in large quantities over the last few weeks while I've been listening to this record. And I absolutely agree with you. Like, it's not like, you know, it's obviously very nostalgic, but it's not like a pastiche. It makes me go, more than, you know what I mean? Like, it's more, there's just more joy to it. It's more like Top Gun Maverick than it is Ghostbusters Afterlife. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's more, it reminds you of a time, but in a way that doesn't make you just go, "Oh, that time was better and now kind of sucks." Like, it just makes you think, "Oh, what a great time." And I'm nearly 40. You're about to have a child. Like, we're both. You must be becoming much more aware of the finality of life and your own mortality. And you just need stuff like this to just pick you up and just take you in a time machine. I mean, this album is like, it's a fantastic combination of Misery Signals, Poison the Well. Obviously, there's a lot of Poison the Well. Sound in the Seventh Trumpets era, Avenged Sevenfold when they were still good. Past the Flask, it's all of this, but then it's just got a really strong attention to making the mosh pit pop. And there was an album that I thought of when I was listening to this that I was like, oh my God, that was one of my all-time favorite albums ever. And I haven't listened to it in years, and I listened to it this week. It's And Don't Forget to Breathe by Static Lullaby. Do you know that album?
I remember that band. I can't remember much about them.
That was the first record. Unfortunately, it's not on streaming. Them. You did, really?
Yeah, they played. I saw him at Southampton Guildhall, a big thing that might have been
Taste of Chaos.
Might have been, could have been Taste of Chaos. Might have been. I want to say Funeral for a Friend, The Static Lullaby, and someone else.
Ooh.
There was it was like a decently stacked bill.
Yeah, that sounds like a good
Southampton
bill.
Guildhall, like around like early 2000s. Like, I definitely saw him, and a few people like bought a shirt off the back of it. It was they were absolutely sick.
Yeah, I mean, like early Alexis, From Autumn to Ashes, all that kind of stuff was like really big for me. mp3.com, like, I always go on about Soulseek, but before Soulseek there was mp3.com, and you could literally just go on there, and it was basically like Bandcamp, but it was all free. And that was like, I discovered so many of bands that I look back on now with like big heart emoji face going on because of it. And this record just made me, just took me back to the time, and I was loving it. But that's not all it's got. Like, it's got this like puppy dog energy. They're so like ravenous, and they're so like, you just feel like they're just so desperate to just get their music out and put it in your face. Like, it's infectious. It's a really infectious, like, lively excitableness that this band like embody, and it brings you along for the ride with it, and you just can't help but love it. Like, and like I say, I've kind of chewed them out a few times, and now I just feel really silly because I'm just like, I feel like, I don't know if maybe the combination of having Sharp Tone on board, who, Die and Wish are on Sharp Tone, and 156 Silence are on Sharp Tone, like that label kind of understands what's going on here. Maybe there's a bit more money, a bit more backing, just generally a bit more, someone's like really backing us as a band, and someone really gets us, and that's Sharp Tone Records, and they're like quite a big deal in the scene. And I don't think that's like buoyed the band up and just made everything feel so much more like exciting. And I'm there for the ride, man. I'm absolutely there for the ride. Like, this, like the vocals on this record are absolutely wicked. The guy, I mean, the singing, I will talk about the singing. Like, I absolutely love the singing and the clean passages, but like the lead vocal, it kind of reminds me of like Mike Rannicker from Devil Wears Prada. It's got that kind of like yelpy, shrill, like quite almost, it's got quite a bit of Brian Garris about it, hasn't it? The vocal style.
Yes, definitely. There's a big slab of Garris in there, and it's the sung moments, mate, that really
So
do
catchy.
sort of solidify it as just a real achievement. Like, it's doing that. Like, there's been a lot of things that sound like this in recent years, right? And I think like Die and Wish like really pulled it off, incorporating the choruses, like bringing that back into this sound, not just having those old school riffs and then a bunch of breakdowns, but also incorporating the melodic side of it. And they do that all over the shop on this record. It's like a real part of its beating heart. It's not just like there's like, it's not like there's like 9 tracks and there's 2 choruses. It's all over the place.
Part,
and it's absolutely brilliant, mate. I absolutely love it. I think they really just they give you that like youthful energy, and it's so sort of earnest. Like, they've gone for those like proper like high vocals as well. Like, they're not mucking about. Like, they're properly going for it, and they really deliver, mate. They really deliver.
I mean, how many times this week have you caught yourself just singing Magnetic Roses to yourself? Like, I'm just sort of, wandering around the house, doing the cleaning or whatever. Just Magnetic Roses. Like, I just can't stop it. It's so infectious, and there's so many moments on the record that are as infectious as that one. Like, I think it kind of reminds me of like War All the Timey, or like Full Collapse era Jeff Rickley, the way that he sings. It's that sort of really kind of quite sweet, but has a little bit of an edge to it that makes it not like flip into starting to sound like, I don't know, like Hail the Sun or like Dance Gavin Dancey type singing. Like, it's got an edge to it that stops it being from just being that little bit too sugary.
Yes. It's definitely not as sugary like as those sort of counterparts.
Yeah, no, go on, sorry.
And they balance it out like so really well with like really, really hard parts, like Condition for a Head-On Collision. There's that vocal call out where it's like, I will never be the same as you, and it hits so bloody hard. Like, Adversity's Spitting Image as well. Like, that one is just, it's so sick. It's so bloody hard.
Yeah, mate. Absolutely. I just wanted to just stick on. What was it? Condition for Head-On Collision. No. What one was it you were talking about? I'm having a moment here.
Adversity's Spitting Image.
Adversity's Spitting Image. No, it's the one that's got the mosh call where they use their own band name. It's got under the fingernails where they use their own band name as a mosh call. That's like the baller asses, boss asses move of all moves, right? Just giving you foreign hands as your mosh call before your mosh pit part comes in is absolutely brilliant. So good, man. It's such a cool move. And like, I kind of, I've always thought that there was no difference between a beatdown and a breakdown. I just thought it was like English versus American terminology, like how they say autumn is the fall, which is weird. Like, but I think I've decided, we've spent a lot of time. We're on episode 235. Spent a lot of time thinking about beatdowns and breakdowns, and I think I've decided there is actually a difference. And I think the difference is that a breakdown is just a chunky riff that happens, but a beatdown is when they really like give you an opportunity to understand that it's happening.
The ceremony of it all.
The whole the whole tempo of the song shifts. There's the build up, and then you get that big moment, and that is one of the moments on this record. It's just that it's brilliant. It's so brilliant. It's so much fun. I absolutely love it. And then you got like Horror Domain, where they really give you like Tear from the Red era, Poison the Well. Like I have not only have I been enjoying listening to this record, but I've been really enjoying listening to the records that it's made me think of, like Tear from the Red by Poison Well, like And Don't Forget to Breathe by A Static Lullaby. Like when you were watching X-Men 97 and you were just like, oh man, this is so good. This just reminds me of like sitting with a bowl of cereal on a Saturday morning. and like I'm having exactly the same kind of sensations when I listen to this album. It just takes my mind back to a better time before I had any dependents or mortgages or anything like that. Life was just more simple. And not that I don't love my dependents and my house and whatnot, but life was just, I had hair, which was great. I used to have hair. That was really fun. And this album is just making me feel really warm and fuzzy inside, the way that my parents must feel when they listen to, like, I don't know, Snap or Wham or something.
Yeah, mate. I think I really like this. I like Until the Sun Fades, like that track. There's like this pinch breakdown riff, and it is so past the flask. It's so past the flask. Man. It made me so goddamn happy. And the way it sort of builds out as well, the repetition, that track feels like an instant classic. It's absolutely fantastic.
There's a lot of them. On this record. Like the nature of how well they've put together the sort of classic verse, chorus, bridgey, breakdowny bit, like the layout of the way that these songs generally work is they're just kind of designed to be catchy classics straight away, and they really fulfill that. Like there's just so many brilliant moments. I think this album, I'm absolutely mind blown by how much I love this record. Like I just really was not expecting, me and you, we've had many moments in our time where we've gone, all right, I think we've had enough of like nostalgic MySpace metalcore, and then another album comes out and you're like, no, maybe we haven't, like, because that album was absolutely brilliant. And it's just another one of their moments where I just hear this and I'm like, this is just incredible classic timeless songwriting, and it's just banging. It's really cool. Like I'm really seriously trying to figure out a way that I can go to that Guilt Trip show that they're supporting them on, because I'm like, Guilt Trip and Foreign Hands on a bill together. Like, I think that there's like London or Leeds, and that's kind of it. But that's such an incredible night of metalcore and just having a great time. You can have massive sing-alongs. You can get stuck into the mosh pit. Like that's a match made in heaven, really. It's absolutely wicked. And I'm going to have like Magnetic Roses stuck in my head for the rest of the year. Like there's no doubt about it. It's just going to happen.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's been some very good records in this sort of space. Like, Boundaries and Dying Wish are sort of
absolutely
doing it, like absolutely smashing it. And these guys are right up there with it. I think I like how this is so drenched in its influences, and as much as it sort of is indistinguishable from that era, like it doesn't necessarily, like, obviously there's the hardcore and stuff, but it's so sort of disguised as a record like this. I was listening to this in the car the other day with Jolene, and she was like, what year is this from? She was like, who is this? What's going on? And I was like, look, I know, they sneak right in, don't they? Like, these guys could get in a time machine, go back and like play Sick Bills, and no one would bat an eyelid.
get onto Hellfest and no one would even notice. Like, yeah, man, absolutely. It does feel like a lost classic that's been dug up from the mid 2000s, and I think I'd like to hope that that's like the biggest compliment you could pay to a band who sound like this, is to be like, you could easily mistake this for something that came out back in those days, like. And it sounds really good. I'm not entirely sure who produced it. I would hazard a guess that it's probably Big Randy Bo Bandy, but I'm not entirely sure. It really sounds like it was him. And the more I listen to it, the more I wish that they still did Heavy Fest, because this would be a perfect thing to happen at Heavy Fest. Like, that festival was just, it felt like it was tailor-made for my music taste. and I miss it all the time. Like, ATG's cool, Outbreak's cool, Bloodstock's cool, but you kind of got a bit of all of the stuff from those lineups that I really love in one place with Heavy, and I miss it all the time.
Yeah, man. Agreed. Yeah, this album absolutely smashes it. I think it's super sick. I'm really stoked for everybody to get behind it. I think it's a great example of metalcore. There's been a lot of great metalcore recently, but this is perfect.
Spot on.
Maybe perfect.
What's left unsaid?
I just shouldn't have said perfect. Can't say perfect, can you? I didn't even say perfect about the Ulcerate album.
Yeah, I was going to say, you didn't even say perfect. Perfect is probably a word that you could only really say for the Gatecreeper record this year. But you know, it's near as damn it.
It's incredible.
What's left unsaid by Foreign Hands. Incredible record. Out Friday, the 21st of June. Check it out. Hell yeah.
Yes.
All right.
We've got Zan with us. Zan, thank you for hanging, man.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
Yeah, it's long-time friend of the show.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
Yeah, it's good to finally like actually talk instead of just like in comment sections and Instagram messages.
Absolutely. Yeah, so I think we first sort of met. Is that what? I don't even know how you say it. When you put out that absolute ripper of an EP in 2019, Primordial Urge was the Moru EP.
Way too long ago, but yeah.
That was going to be my first question, if I'm honest. What the bloody hell? What took so long?
Man, a lot of things. I mean, COVID had a lot to do with it, and also just sorry if y'all are hearing my cat's in the litter box right now. But
that's all right. We've already had a dog barking. It just balances things out if you've got a cat in there.
But yeah, I mean, we started writing for the album like literally right after the EP came out. In fact, like one of the songs that's on the record we had written before we wrote the EP. And so when we got ready to record the EP, we were just like, let's sit on this song a little longer. It doesn't really feel like it fits the other three songs that we ended up putting on there. And so then like December of 2019, Jesus, we started like kind of coming up with the concept for the record, and then started actually writing in January of 2020. And then there was a while with COVID and everything where we kind of felt like we weren't really like comfortable having in-person practices. So we were all kind of just doing some writing and everything on our own. And then when we actually got back to practicing, it was just like we got evicted from the house that we were living in at the time that was like our practice space. It was also the place where I booked a lot of shows and everything. So that was upset for a while. Things were kind of in flux. And then Jake joined No Cure and started touring full time with them. So, and then Tucker moved to Atlanta. So he's about 4 hours away. And it was just like every time we'd like start making a lot of progress and then something would happen and we'd stall out for a few months and then start making more progress and then something else happens. And
it just sounds like life was conspiring against you.
Yeah. And also just, it's like a very deep concept and we like wanted to really, really go in on it and like take our time with it and not cut any corners.
Yeah.
It's a smart
That's
move.
awesome. On the concept, just because you brought it up, I wanted to talk to you about that anyway, and it seems like a perfect point to. You sort of gave a brief summary of it when you sent over the email, and I was like, "That's fucking hard as fuck." That's absolutely sick. So yeah, if you could just elaborate on it a bit, because it's sick as hell. And
So
when did you come up with it? Like, what was inspired? What inspired it and stuff like that?
I mean, it started as an idea that Tucker, our singer, had like around December of 2019. And then we all kind of just started adding our own little takes to it. And it went through several different iterations that eventually it landed us on what it is now. But basically, it's like set however many hundreds of years in Earth's future, and like all of the natural resources have been completely depleted, and Earth has been totally industrialized, and there's this cult of people that has been like passed down generation to generation to generation for millions of years, of these people that worship these alien gods that created all the planets in the universe. And on each planet, they planted a titan or like demigod of some sort that could be awoken if the planet was ever like beyond repair and needed to be like reset. So they decide that it's time to
They had the
awaken.
self-destruct button.
Yeah, it's a self-destruct button, literally. So, so these people, like, they kind of are wrestling back and forth. Like, is it really time to do this? Do we want to go where, like, do we want to hit this button and never be able to go back? And they decide, yeah, we have to do it. So it awakens and just destroys everything on Earth. And then the last track,
That's sick as hell.
yeah, the last track is like evolution starts again on Earth. So it's like
Nice.
the re-cooking of the primordial soup.
Nice. It's the bit after the credits when there's like, is there going to be a sequel? Maybe there's going to be a sequel. Yeah.
The end credit scene.
It's like a couple of claws like out of the gloop, like
Right. Yeah.
Man, that's really, really cool. And yeah, obviously now that with the artwork as well, it'll like, yeah, I could see, because that's the Titan bursting out of the planet and stuff, right? Yeah. Oh man, that's amazing.
I think
I'd watch that movie. Like,
oh yeah. I think Adam Burke, the painter who did the artwork, he knocked it out of the park. We just kind of like, I was emailing him and basically just said, here's the concept, have fun with it. Like, we trust you, do whatever you want with it. And because he's done so many amazing album covers for bands that we all love. So first draft that he sent us, I was like, oh hell yeah.
Oh, it's I just realised, it's Nightjar, isn't it? Yeah. Oh, I never put that together, mate. That's absolutely sick. Yeah, he's done so many records that we love.
Fit for an Autopsy artworks.
He did Terminal Nation recently, the End album. Loads of good
I never
stuff.
know how to pronounce the band name, Zompantli or how
Zompantli one.
Yeah, he's done so much good shit.
Yeah. Oh, that's absolutely sick. I did not put that together. That's so.
Do you get
that's so badass?
Do you get? I think we asked Tom this question when we were talking to him about the last Celestial Sanctuary album. Do you have the painting?
No,
like the original.
He gave us the option to buy it, but we were just like, we had already kind of committed to spending so much.
I was going to say, you're already blown your beans on getting it done in the first place.
Yeah, we were just like, like part of his contract is like he reserves the right to sell the original, but he gives the commissioner the option to buy the original. But we were just like, nah, dude, like we're spent. Fully
tapped out.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's like a balloon payment at the end. You're like, yeah, I'm all right.
I mean, we did everything for this record out of pocket and just all independent, so it adds up.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I
That's
always
awesome.
wanted to ask, where did the inspiration for the name come from? What does the name mean? Like, what is it? It's very sick.
The album cover or the album
Sorry,
name,
the band
the
name.
band name.
Yeah, Moru.
It's really nerdy. I mean, just like the album concept is. Uh, the I really love J.R.R. Tolkien, and so there's like an early manuscript of the Silmarillion, um, and like one of the earlier transliterations of an Elvish name for the spider Ungoliant was Moru, which is Sindarin for black. So
Sick.
that, yeah, it's like
Cool.
it's not even actually in the
Ungoliant was the
Silmarillion.
primeval spirit of night. That's hard as hell. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's not actually in the
Nice.
Silmarillion as Moru, but it was like one of the like an early draft that he ended up not using.
So that's like double. Like,
It's
if
a deep
anybody
cut.
gets that, you're the dude.
The
You are the
nichest
man.
of niches. Have you ever had
Yeah.
anyone go? I know, like Moru, like from
I
the,
think
you've gone.
one
Holy,
person
we just
was
became
like,
best
"Is that a
friends.
Tolkien reference?" And I was like, "How did you know
You're like,
that?"
oh my days. That's so cool. So obviously, yeah, the new album, The Gods Who Thought We Were, it's incredible, and the obviously the sound of it, I think it's so much more death metal than the previously. Like, what is that like? Was that did it just kind of happen by what you referencing of what you were listening to at the time, or did you kind of want to move in that direction?
It was a little bit of both. It was kind of just um, a natural change that like we just kind of found ourselves writing more of that kind of stuff. And like we all love metalcore and like mosh parts and everything. We just kind of figured that's not what we're best at. Um,
Fair.
and um, I felt like we kind of just ended up gravitating towards more just metal and like Brandon and I specifically are really into like nerdy prog shit. So that definitely informed it as well, and
Nice.
like Meshuggah and everything. So obviously heavy Meshuggah influence.
Yeah,
Yes.
there's
Yeah.
like
Very much so.
there's a real sort of like space, like prog stoner space death vibe to it all. Like, it's really hard to like put a label on it because it's. I think
Right.
you've managed to pull off a record that's so cool. It's got a foot in a lot of places, but it doesn't immediately speak to an exact label, which is
Mhm.
really, really, really cool. Like, there's so much sort of like progressive elements, but then there's
Yeah.
just so much like just straight up like riff worship, like these big like rolling like stonery riffs. Like, I'm absolutely loving that sort of smashed up against the progressive death elements.
Absolutely.
And then, it's not without its like sort of mosh moments. Like, you still sort of, you still cater to those people every now and then, and it's absolutely sick, man. I've been really enjoying this record. Like,
Yeah.
we had it for a while, and then it's been out this week, and it's been all over my Spotify, and yeah, just absolutely love how you've sort of just. It's a lot of riff worship, man, and that's what's great. It feels like a lot of like moments where you guys are just jamming out, which is awesome.
Yeah.
Hell
It's a
yeah.
brave move too. Like, because everyone wants to fit into a scene these days. Wherever you guys are kind of quite comfortable spanning loads. Was that something? Did that play on your mind at all when you were writing it? You're like, this is maybe too death metal for the hardcore kids. It's too
Definitely.
proggy for the death metal kids. Did you ever get like, oh god, what? Or did you just be like, fuck it, I'm sticking to my guns and I'm just gonna
We
go for it and I don't care.
we definitely had moments where we were like, is this gonna like be so many things that it's like that it just alienates everyone.
Yeah.
And then we were kind of like, whatever, I don't care. 'Cause
Yeah,
it's
good.
fun.
I mean, the results speak for themselves.
Yeah, I mean, we definitely are like usually like an oddball on almost every show that we play. We're usually like too metal for the hardcore shows and not metal enough for the metal shows. But yeah, it kind of doesn't matter anymore. It definitely did bother me for a while.
Yeah.
Because like we wanted to be a metalcore band for so long, and then kind of realized like we love writing death metal and like prog stuff way too much to only write metalcore. but we also love metalcore way too much to only write death metal.
Absolutely. I mean, it's always my favorite kind of bands are the bands who like to span multiple genres, but
Right.
like, you know, in the old days it was much more of an issue when people had to go out and buy a CD, but now, you know, the internet is a thing and people aren't as tribal, and it's much, I guess the only time it really becomes a problem is when you're playing local shows and you end up on a bill with 4 hardcore bands and you're the only band who are doing anything vaguely expansive. But then
Right.
in those instances you just go, well, this is how you do it, boys. Just show them how it's done.
We're just gonna blow your minds, dudes.
Yeah, we were talking not too long ago about doing like ads for the album, and like the conversation of like what would we put as our like for fans of, and I was like, I don't know, like Gojira, Neurosis, Meshuggah, Black Breath, and Behemoth, and they were like, that's too many. That's too many things. Like,
you just blew a load of metalheads' minds with all of that band, trying to figure out how that all fits in one place. You just need to listen to it. You need to listen to it, you'll get it. Amazing. Yeah, go on, Sam.
What was was there much of a lineup shift between like what was on the 2019 EP and this? Obviously, like the vocal attack is like different. Is that somebody new, or is that just, did somebody just turn on the death metal button?
It's same guy. Tucker was telling us through the whole writing process. Like I said, he moved out of state, and so he was doing a lot of like we were having practices and writing sessions without him, or we would just like have like a Google Meet, and so he could sit in, and he kept telling us like, you know, I'm working on new vocal stuff, and we're just like, okay, sure. And also like when we're playing live or practicing, none of us are really listening to what the vocals sound like. We're just like trying not to play wrong
Try
notes.
not to ruin the riff.
Yeah. It's like I'm not paying attention to what anyone else is doing unless they fuck up. Like I'm just focusing on what I'm doing.
Absolutely.
And so then like we started recording the vocals, and he busts out this like garbage disposal noise, and I was like, where did that come from?
You'll go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Who possessed our vocalist? Jesus, yeah.
I was like, I mean, I know you said you were working on some new stuff, but damn.
Love that moment. That's always fun. That happened when we recorded our EP, and everyone was just like, yeah, was that really what Sonny sounds like? It was great. It's always fun. It's always a fun moment.
Yeah. Otherwise, lineup, really the only change was that we got a second guitarist. His name's Gray. He also plays in another band called Torsion, and he's also the vocalist for Torsion. And he also plays in like a punk band called Toxic Culture. But the addition of Gray definitely helped kind of shape the album in a specific way, because I'm very like methodical and mathematical with the way I write riffs, and he just throws shit at the wall until something sticks. He'll write riffs specifically for Torsion or his old band Knuckle Dragger. Like I filled in on guitar for one of their shows with them, and he was teaching me the riffs, and I was like, what time signature is this in? And he was like, I don't know.
It's like, what's a time signature?
Yeah, and then he's like, there's a guitar solo in this part, and I'm like, okay, what key is it in? And he's like, I don't know. Like he just like puts notes next to each other until it feels like a good time to start over. And it blows my mind, because it's like he just has this ear for just putting things that shouldn't fit together, and it sounds sick. So there's a good bit of the riffs on the record were him just coming up with weird shit, and then me like tweaking one thing to be like, okay, this is in kind of a key now. But yeah, he was kind of like the missing piece for us, for sure.
That's cool. I think that's good because, you know, it's good to have that push and pull in a band. Like, it kind of makes me think of like Deftones. You know how like Chino and Steph essentially hate each other, but because they come at things from such different angles, but the way that they clash creates genius. And like, you've got you're like a graphic designer and he's like Picasso, and you come together and what you get is like a really awesome product that is like really well rounded as a result of it. I think that's really cool. I think it's good you've got that to kind of challenge you and take you out your comfort zone a little bit. I think that's, you know, that's obviously paid off in the final product of the album because it sounds incredible.
Big time. I grew up playing like church music,
Right.
and so like it's still so hard to like break myself out of just like major key stuff.
Yeah.
And
And like having like the theory behind it, it kind of becomes really hard to forget that once you know it, doesn't it?
right, yeah. And I studied jazz for a few years,
Well, that'll do
and
it. Yeah.
and yeah, and
We've all
so
seen
like
Whiplash. That'll do it. Yeah.
yeah, but like even though there's like still a lot of like dissonance and weirdness in jazz, it's still very like intentional on like
Yeah.
chord structures and melodic lines. So stuff writing metal it's hard to like break yourself out of that box and be like, I'm gonna play the tritone here, even though it doesn't make sense to. It's just because it sounds cool.
Yeah. I guess because it might accidentally summon the devil. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah. So like, without trying to sound disrespectful, you've only got quite a small following. I want to know what's the future. How are you going to get this record to as many people as it deserves to be gotten to? I mean, we'll do what we can, but our audience is only so big. So what's the 5-year plan? Come on, Zan, let's hear it. What are you going to do? How are you going to get to Wembley Stadium? Come on, dude, tell us how it's going to happen. No, I just want to know what's going on with like the future with the band, and you got shows and tours, and what's happening.
We don't have any tours booked at the moment. We have a good bit of shows booked for this year, and probably going to try to do a couple short runs, maybe in the like fall and winter time. It's hard working around schedules
Life.
and everything.
Yeah.
Jake, our bassist, he plays in No Cure, and they tour all the time.
Yeah.
Brannon, our drummer, he plays in another band called Your Spirit Dies, and they also tour a good bit. And Tucker lives in another state, so we've got a lot of things stacked against us for coordinating dates and everything. But we've got a release show coming up in next month, a month from today, actually, and then we've got a few shows coming up in the fall. And I'm gonna try to do a few like short, like weekender runs here and there.
Awesome.
It's definitely kind of become like just a thing that like we're just gonna keep doing it for forever. And
hell yeah,
like,
hell yeah, man.
Yeah,
that's it. That's what I want to hear.
Yeah, it's not like we got to get this, we got to get out on the road and get this record in front of as many people as possible. It's kind of just like, we're just going to keep doing it and doing it to the extent that it's fun for us.
Yeah, absolutely. That's it. That's the attitude to have for sure. And it's such you've done such a fantastic job. The album is so cool that I think the growth will be organic. I was just teasing.
No, you're good. No, Blaith from No Cure, we call him like shark mode all the time because he's like he's like, if I stop moving I will die. And Blaith has been like on us for so long, even before No Cure existed.
Catabasis,
we played with Catabasis a lot, and when we first started writing this record, I was sending him demos here and there, and he every time he saw me for the past like 5 years, he'd be like, when are you going to put the album out? Like, when are you guys going to tour? You guys should buy
we've
a
had a
van."
lot of the same conversations too. Like, we've all been desperate for it. Oh, hello, Kitty.
This is Sam.
What up, Sam?
All right, buddy. You got to go.
Nah, that's awesome. Yeah, it's just a really brilliant modern record that I think is going to appeal to a lot of people. Like, there's so much crossover, like you say, like there's a lot of like proggy elements, but there's just loads of great death metal riffs, man. It's absolutely sick.
I know what else I wanted to ask you about, actually, Zan. We were talking about it on Messenger, but Into Oblivion, what you were saying about the story behind what kind of transpired with that, I wanted you to kind of go into that a bit more with us.
Yeah. Sorry.
Once you finish being attacked by a cat.
Claws in my shoulders.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah, so one of the things when we like finally settled on a concept for the album, I had this kind of idea, and it started like the way I explained it to the band. Initially, they were kind of like, "This sounds really lame," but I was like, in like an anime when the hero is losing the battle, and there's like this like slow motion moment where he's like falling, and he's like, "I can't let my family down. I have to win." And it's like it ends in him going Super Saiyan or whatever.
Yes, he goes Super Saiyan 2 for the first time and just destroys it.
Yeah. So I was like, what if the second to last track is like that moment for humanity? And it's like an introspective, how do we get here? What's going, like, why is this happening? But instead of it being like a happy ending, it's just everyone dies at the end. And they were like, you had me there for a second, but no, that's cool. And I was like, I think it should be like a really like soft, ominous, like almost ballad that just ends in a really heavy, doomy drone kind of thing. And I was like, I think Pete Kowalski should sing it. And they were like, hell yeah. So I messaged Pete and I was like, dude, would you be willing to sing a song on our record for us? And he was just like, hell yeah, let me know what it is and I'll do it. And we talked about it here and there over the 4 years that we were writing the record. But Pete and I had like, we weren't like the best of friends, but I booked Ether Coven a handful of times at my old house. And so we had kind of hit it off and talked pretty often. And I messaged him like a few weeks like right after we booked the studio time. And I was like, hey dude, we're going into the studio next month. We're getting ready. If you're still down to do that song, here's the demo, here's the lyrics. Let me know what you think. And then like 2 days later, we found out he had passed away. So we kind of had like a brief just like get together, like reassess, like what do we want to do about that song. And I was like, we're not scrapping it. It's crucial for the album. I think we need to leave it on there and just like dedicate it to him, and I'll try to sing it. So
yeah.
Respect, man.
I did my best.
It sounds brilliant. You've done a really strong job. I mean, you can really hear the influence from that kind of the more somber side of the like the Ether Coven stuff, that the Pete like mournful kind of croon style, and
Yeah.
I think you've really done him justice with it, man. It sounds
Thank
wicked,
you.
and
Yeah,
big
I
up,
loved
like,
it.
yeah, that's kind of heartbreaking, but also has like a kind of a really cool triumphant end. Like, oh yeah, I thought it was really important that you shared that story with everyone, because
Right.
that it touched me. We need to
I've
finish
been,
on. Go on, son.
I've been watching the Yellowstone prequels recently.
Oh yeah,
And that track really lines up with it brilliantly. I'm like, all in my head right now, it's just like just thinking about old cowboy times, and like that song,
dude.
it's just proper sad cowboy vibes.
sad cowboy shit. It's a year of sad cowboy
it's
shit.
awesome.
Sure.
It's
so
like,
many
mate, there's
people say
been
that.
it's so good, bro. It hits me right in the season 1 of True Detectives, which is like,
Yeah.
I mean, that's the highest compliment you can pay anything, right?
Whoa.
Dude,
Jesus.
I tell everyone whenever this comes up that I think that season of True Detective is like the best,
the best
season
thing.
of
Season
any
of television,
show
full stop.
ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Totally.
If
So
The
Preaching to the
Sopranos
choir
was
here, bro.
one season, it would be almost as good as True Detective season 1. No, I can't believe I just said that. I don't know. I shouldn't have said that.
You're a
But
madman.
it's
You're a
unreal.
madman.
It's unreal.
Yeah.
That's high praise. I really appreciate that.
That's cool. Awesome.
No, you did a fantastic job, mate. I was actually going to ask who was that. Like, I didn't realize it was you or if it was the other vocalist. So yeah, that's absolutely awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
Awesome.
when we were tracking, we like all of us tried recording that song, and I had written it for like this like baritone vocal range, and none of the other guys could get their voice down to the like lowest note, and I could. So that's literally the only reason that I'm the one that
You end up doing it by default. Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like, well, we're not gonna sing this an octave up, and it's too late to change the melody. So yeah.
Hell yeah.
Could work.
Before we move on, or before we disappear, I'd like to just get some. Have you got any recommendations from like the local? Obviously, like you're in the land of riffs right now. What's kicking off in the local scene? Like some good stuff that we might not be aware of, or maybe not even the local.
Give us the
just,
inside scoop.
You got any hot recs for us, brother?
Oh, totally. There's a lot of great bands in Nashville. I mean, a good bit of them you guys already know, Chamber and Orthodox. Some that you might not know are Lethal Method. There's a band called Idiot, and Dogpile, Killer's Pay. They're all really sick hardcore bands. A newer like blackened death dissonant band called Pelagius. They're Dogpile and Pelagius are playing our release show next month.
Oh, that's cool.
Nice.
But and then some other friends of ours, maybe not necessarily in Nashville, but there's a band called Walking Wounded. They're from Ohio.
Yes,
yeah, Walking Wounded.
Yes.
Their EP they put this shit absolutely savage, mate. So good,
insane,
so good.
Yeah, they're playing our release show as well. They're coming down for that.
Nice.
Some other friends of ours are in a band called Rejoice. They're really sick.
Yeah.
Then there's also In Love, which are also a few members of Rejoice. But yeah, really good friends of ours, really great people. Let me see, are there any I'm forgetting?
Don't get yourself in trouble. Don't miss anybody important.
Yeah,
that's loads. That's loads.
That is a lot. That is a lot to
That's
go away
loads.
with.
You're good. You're good.
The one that stood out to me there was Idiot. I like that band name, so I'm going to definitely check that out first.
Yeah, if you like, Idiot is like moshier System of a Down.
Oh, all right.
Like very silly lyrics, and just really fun.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, and a few of the guys that are in Lethal Method are also an Idiot. Yeah, a lot of the Nashville bands are very incestuous.
Yeah,
but,
sounds it.
yeah.
I can't stop thinking about that when you said Pelagius. Is that like a Star Wars reference?
I think it's. I think it was a Roman emperor.
Fair. There's like this geezer, Darth Plagueis, who like everybody thought it was that Snook guy was going to be. And then,
yeah.
He's like just like a big old Sith geezer.
Hell yeah.
It could be a Star Wars reference. I'll have to ask them. But
ask him.
Yeah.
Outside of that, what's is there anything that's like coming out this year that you're especially looking forward to? Like anything that that you can't wait to hear?
Yeah, I'm excited for the new Nile record.
Yes,
and
I'm checking the inbox every day for that, brother.
Yeah. I think Undeaf just got done recording a new record too.
Oh, nice.
I'm pretty sure they did it with the same producer who mixed the new Nile record.
Okay.
So that's exciting. The guy's based in Nashville is the only reason I know that. But No Cure is recording a new album right now. I think I'm allowed
Sick.
to say that.
Excellent.
Which is why Jake's not coming to band practice tonight. But yeah, I'm trying to think. I don't know of any others that are
Nails.
coming out later. Oh, Nails. Yeah.
Oh,
that's
yeah,
another
Nails.
one.
That's one of the ones I'm most excited about for the
Yeah,
rest of
big
the year.
time.
I'm just projecting that onto you. I'm sure you would be too.
No, definitely forgot about that
Yeah.
one. They're playing Nashville for the first time, I think,
Ooh.
this fall.
Hell yeah.
So we'll definitely be there with Tribal Gaze and Mammoth Grinder.
That's a bill.
Yeah,
That is a bill.
very
Can't miss
sick
that.
lineup.
Christ, that's amazing.
Yeah, as soon as they
Yeah.
announced that tour, I sent the link to my
Let's do it.
girlfriend.
Let's do
I was
it.
like,
I'll wear it.
mark this date on the calendar. We are
We're
going to this.
Date night.
Honestly,
yeah.
she probably loves Nails more than I do, but
Oh wow, that's cool.
That's sick.
That's really cool. Awesome. It's been an absolute pleasure, Zan. Thanks for joining us, mate.
Hell yeah. Yeah, sorry I got the time difference wrong.
You're all good, brother.
You have to apologise to my wife, though. She's going to be very unimpressed.
Fair enough. Tell her if she's upset, she can hit me up and yell at me. But
Yeah. Maybe just a voice note, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah, sick as hell. Yeah, if anybody hasn't listened to the new Moru record, it's called The Gods We Thought We Were, and it absolutely rips. Zan, thank you so much for hanging with us, man. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, guys.
We'll see you soon.
Transition to us from the past.
That was an absolute pleasure to have Zan on, wasn't it?
Oh, so lovely to finally put a face to a name and a set of riffs.
Any AOR, Gary?
Yeah,
Any
it's
other
that time.
riffness?
It's that time of the show where we talk about other things that we've been enjoying, and I've got to shout out this Awake the Secrets EP, dude. It's oh my god, it's called Grammaria. I'm not entirely sure how you pronounce it. Grammaria, something like that. So I discovered this band. Someone posted about them in the Mathcore Index community group, and I was like, okay, there was a few people underneath it who were saying it was the EP of the year. And I was like, all right, like generally
Ooh.
people do like to real go for the hyperbole in that group. So I was like, okay, but I'm going to have a listen because I've got nothing else to do. And bloody hell, this thing is incredible. Absolutely incredible. It's so good. They're like, I guess it's kind of Tony Danzery style, like down-tuned mathcore, but then with this Absolute Hope, Absolute Hell era, Fit for an Autopsy, like deathcore edition, and like obviously there's clear influences from like
What a fucking
HLB
combo.
and stuff. Mate, this EP is so sick. They're Italian band. I've never come across them before, but you really just need to check this stuff out. Like this EP is incredible, man. It's 17 minutes, 4 tracks, and it's shit hot. It is shit hot. I've been having so much fun jamming it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, I jammed it, man. It absolutely rips. Absolutely rips. I feel like there was like a real spate of like Danzer-esque stuff for a couple of years, and then I feel like there was probably a 6-month period where we said the words Tony Danzer. Like
I think it was
like
in the
far
wake
too
of
many
Orange
times.
Mathematics. There was just loads of it that just came out, but I don't know, like everyone's kind of gone off it a little bit. But yeah, this is the business. There's also like extra sort of more atmospheric stuff and
that's what's nice
vibes, and yeah, it's really cool, really good.
That's what's nice. The like the evil and the atmospherics and the scatty stuff.
Yeah.
From me, mate. I've got 2 things that I've been thoroughly enjoying. The first one is the new album from Apes. Have you jammed it at all?
I did listen to that. I listened to it on Friday because someone said it was produced by Putney, and I was like, all right, well,
King Putt.
count me in. I think it was mastered by Putney, but yeah,
Yeah, it was mastered.
Putin Carmoon. Oh no, that doesn't sound as good, does it? It's really sick, isn't it? Really sick.
Dude. Really cool, absolute ripper of an album. So I definitely listened to their previous album, but I remembered it to be quite a sort of impenetrable ball of grindcore brilliance, which is fantastic, but was not exactly the most nuanced endeavor.
Yeah.
But this one, mate, I love it. I think they've really sort of added this. Well, maybe they've not added, and maybe I just hadn't listened and I can't remember. But there's a lot of really cool sort of. There's a balance of really gnarly hardcore and then like fantastic sort of dark atmospheric black metal. It's one of the finest examples of black and hardcore I've heard in a long time.
I can give you that for sure.
There's big slabs of Justice for the Damned vibes all over this, man, and I love it. Even down to the vocal performance sounds very much like a bowback. It's so full-throated and hench, and there aren't too many people that pull that off. And then there's these sort of black metal eruptions. There's really cool, chunky, hardcore moments, but there's also like a real focus on the huge sort of atmosphere that sort of lends itself to the black metal. Like it's so dark and gnarly at the same time, and it just it makes you think of like bands like like Cursed and stuff like that. Like it's so cool and dark, man.
I need to listen
I absolutely
to it a bit more.
dig it.
I need to listen to it a bit more. I gave it a good one spin when I was listening to stuff on Friday that came out. I need to get stuck into it more, but I really enjoyed what I heard.
I could hear him then.
I could hear him that time.
And to top it all off, if you're going to have something sort of splendidly bleak and dark, then there's no sort of better little sample to have than Werner Herzog. You've got Werner Herzog in there, just being brilliantly articulate and drab. He's the absolute man.
Brilliantly drab. That's such a great way to describe Werner Herzog.
Isn't it? It just is. He's fantastic, and it pairs perfectly with the album. It's a ripper of an album. Like really thoroughly enjoyed it. Can't recommend it enough.
Hell yeah.
The other thing is this EP by a band called Mirar, Mirar. Did you check it out at all?
No, I've not come across that one.
Brother,
What's it like?
It's an EP called Mare, M-A-R-E. They're using, annoyingly, they're using that free image that like loads of people have used. Like, remember God Complex used it, where it's like someone getting their head chopped off a bit. You know that one? It's like superbly hard, but like it's just like a old like painting, so you can just have it for nothing. But don't let that put you off, right? Because this is some of the coolest Thal you're gonna hear. It's an instrumental Thal EP, and the grooves are off their fucking nut, Gary. It is so good. Like where Viljata can sort of do these things and sort of get sort of caught up in being a bit more ethereal. It's more like a cloud, and it moves around, and sort of as much as they sort of give you these grooves, they're quite sort of like they sort of move and mutate, and they don't necessarily lean back into them as much as you'd like, you know, like that's not sort of the experience you have with the Viljata. Like it's very sort of amorphous,
liquid,
liquid. But these guys, they sort of lock in that groove and they really weaponize it. And there's this like sort of classical vibe that's going on throughout the thing with like pianos under stuff. And then, but also on top of that, there's this real sort of like EDM injection that like permeates the whole thing. And in some places, it's like dance Thal, and brother, it is so much fun. It is so much brother. I'm not joking, man. It is.
You made a pun by accident then, because you know, like dance hall. Now you got dance hall.
Oh, well, I'm about to make another one, because there's moments where it basically goes into Thal step. Like it's like dub by the way of Thal, and it's fantastic.
This sounds absolutely sick, and I really need this in my life.
It's really, really fun. It's 6 songs, 29 minutes, and a hell of a lot of fun. Yeah, big up the Discord for pointing that one out.
I was looking for a pen to make a note, but I don't have one, so send me a link to that. That sounds incredible.
Yeah, dude. It is just some of the finest Thals. I know you're going to love it. It is constant riff face. It's absolutely brilliant. I think it's just a 2-man endeavor. Like I say, it's instrumental, and it absolutely rules. It came out on June 14th. Yeah, it's called Mare, the EP.
Hell yeah, that sounds right up my alley. And you know me, I love a bit of like cyber grind and stuff. So managing finding a way to make the stuff that they do there combined with the Thor, that sounds wicked. I'm in. I'm all the way in, mate. Yeah,
dude.
Sick. Wow, sick show. Son, it's a big one next week. It's a big one. We're getting stabbed 200 times. Oh yeah, we got the death metal correspondent coming on as well to share his opinions, because we all really value his opinion. He's a scholar of the death metal genre. So yeah, it's going to be a really good time. I think it's going to be we're just going to focus. He's probably going to talk about Download as well, because they just played Download. They just put out an new EP, so we got stuff to chat about with Tom. Yeah. Really good. I'm really looking forward to it, mate. Really looking forward to it. Really looking forward to talking about that Stab Wounds record. Hoo-hoo.
What a fantastic run of releases we've had. Yeah. God, Not Loose, Gatecreeper, Ulcerate, 200 Stab
mate.
Wounds. Just it's been ridiculous. We've been eating incredibly good. Yeah, mate. I can't wait. I'm so glad that between now and next week, that's all I have to. All I have to do is get stabbed. I'm just going to get stabbed all day. I can't wait.
It's going to be.
I've been
wicked.
getting stabbed already. I love it. Like shocker, by the way. But yeah, it's sick. I can't wait.
Can't wait. We'll see you then.
See you later. Love you lots. Bye.